scared now. When he asked how I told him that I physically separated my legs to make me have sex and told him to calm down. Oh my fucking goodness, don't say that he yelled. Do you know that's against the law? Do you know that you just accused me of rape in battle? And pushed me out of the way. When I started to say sorry, he said it was okay and did his old silly thing by acting like I'm stupid. The moment has finally come when I understand that. It's wrong and it's called married rape. It caused another heated fight. He called me a fool for having the nerve to say those things. He laughed when I said he abused people. He asked, "Who are you talking to?" I don't know what you're talking about because you started talking about things over and over again. He said that having sex with his wife is not the same as rape no matter how you look at it. He grabbed my wrist when I tried to turn around to leave. When I pulled my hand back, he put his hands up and said he was sorry because, by your standards, it might have been battery on a pregnant lady. Because of his arrogant tone, I told him I didn't want to be around him. That's when I really lost it. He said, "Okay, I'll go." I told him I didn't want to go. "I want to leave you." He threw the credit card at me and then told me to book a room. So I did. Now look at me writing this. While my sister is on her way, I'm not feeling well at all. He has called me more than once, but I never answer. I've never seen him look so mad. I'm not sure what he'll do if I tell him the truth and say I want to go take the baby. He really wanted to have a child, and I agreed with them. The fact that it won't let me treat her lightly scares me. Every time my daughter kicks, I want to cry. I had no idea that having my own child would make me cry so much. I'm just so afraid though. Commenter, if it's his credit card, he can keep an eye on your hotel and even ask for information on your account. Please be careful and stay safe. Edit Ops' husband looks like a police officer. Yes, that is his card, but the motel staff seemed to understand when I told them what was going on. Tonight I'll only be by myself because my SIL is coming soon. Person 2, the hotel worker can't tell him which room she booked because it's against the law. I have been through this. Yes, this is what they told me, sorry. When we talked, the boss told me not to worry. By law, he can't tell anyone about my room or where I'm staying. If they had the right papers, my spouse would not have been able to properly use his shield even if he had tried. Reader, can you move out and live with your brother and sister? What hospital is close by? Will the baby be there? He will definitely make your life harder after the baby is born and won't let you leave the state. Before you give birth, you need to be safe and have people who can help you. That is, in fact, my plan. I had Braxton Hicks for the first time ever and bled all night. If I came here by myself or went into labor early, I would actually die. I'm scared, but I'm really trying not to talk. And my husband. The husband saw the post after it went popular and got to the top of the list. Thank you for letting me know about this, I wasn't aware of it. It's not likely that either of them will find it, but even if they did, I don't think I said anything very specific, something about her. It must be scary to think that when you try to protect yourself, someone you love and thought was your true friend takes off his mask and shows what he really is. Wow, that's scary. It's crazy that the moment I said something he didn't like, he became meaner and worse than I've ever seen him. Tell her she needs to hire a lawyer. Someone who is a lawyer will know how to report it in a way that makes it impossible to hide. Oh, I'm already doing that. I want to have my baby in my home state, but I don't know how to do it. I'm also afraid that if I do something wrong, my husband will be able to take her away. I really am doing my best. I'm scared and worried because I don't have 3 weeks to get anywhere. Also, I know he will never let me have a C-section or give birth by myself. He'll be there. I don't know what to do about that. Another short update. I really don't know what to say about how much support I got from people who asked me to check that I was okay less than 3 times. I really appreciate it. I talked about meeting Braxton Hicks for the first time in my report on August 7th. Someone told me to go to the hospital. I didn't want to do it at first, but I'm glad I did because I was bleeding so much by the time I got inside that it was running down my legs. It turns out that I had a placental abruption. 7. August 31st at 10:37 p.m. My daughter was born through an emergency C-section. This is being written when she is still a little young, but I already have to deal with a lawyer and all of this. There were only 33 weeks and 5 days left until she was born. They tell me she is doing pretty well, even though she is small. I'm still in the hospital, and she's in the NICU right now. Seeing my child helps, even though everything is scary and hard. A lot of care has been given to me. It's okay, it will be okay, and she will be okay too. The doctor told me that if everything goes well, I would be able to take my child home in a few weeks, which is less than 3 years. Also, the staff here is great. As soon as my baby was born, my SIL showed up, and she has been a huge help to me all day. I did what the lawyer told me to do and let my husband see my baby while she was in the... Even though I couldn't because I was pregnant, my husband made me play with him. Now that I'm in the hospital, I'm getting ready to leave him behind in secret. Hey everyone, my spouse and I have been married for 4 years after being together for 6 years. It's also the first big fight we've had together. I, F24, am 33 weeks along with his M31 child right now. At 20 weeks of pregnancy, my doctor told me I had placenta previa. For those who don't know, this disease is mostly caused by my baby's placenta blocking the opening in my cervix. They told me that my baby would probably move when it got bigger. But it never did. In 3 weeks, I'm going to have a C-section, me in the face, and told me, "You wouldn't have had to do this alone. If you weren't acting that way, I knew exactly why I was doing this." So, to be honest, I don't know what I'll do. But I don't think my husband will let me bring my child back to my home state. That's where I wanted to live with her, my brother, and my still. As I did what you said and got the medical records of the rapes, including the one I wrote about, and the 2 others I went to the hospital for over the years, my lawyer says I have options that are very much in my favor. Also wrote a letter to my doctor saying that trauma and worry were most likely to blame for my placental abruption, but only in the place where we currently live. To be honest, it's fine. Being able to see and love my child and hold her for a short time has been more important than many other thoughts. The most important thing to me is that she is safe. There's nothing I'll do to put her in my shoes. She has been in my mind all day, even though she is only 16 hours old. She will always be in my mind. I most likely won't post again because I'm waiting for them to soon let me spend more time with my baby. But I just wanted to say how much I value this whole piece and how much it has made my life better. In the same way, I want to tell anyone else in the same situation to speak up without being afraid. And if you made it through, you're so brave. I value less than 3 comments. Since your baby is in the NICU, ask the nurse to put you in touch with a social worker who can help you. Tell the social worker everything. Depending on your state, they can be very helpful and put you in touch with new places that are good for moms. Not all shelters for victims of domestic abuse are safe places for babies, especially a baby NICU who was born quickly. No need for me to smile, we already have a full plan for when she leaves the NICU. I also learned that a lot of people were worried about my money and other things, but I will be okay. I was only on leave because I had a baby, but I still have a job, a steady work, and a lot of money saved up. He could never take that away from her or me. What length of time will your SIL be with you, please? Yes, she does have kids back home, so we're not sure for sure yet. She told me that either she or my brother would stay with me for as long as I needed them. She said that they would go back and forth every so often. There are only about 3 people who are truly my angels. She and her husband were in the surgery room. In less than a day, her husband showed her around the flat. Her husband thinks they are still together because his friends and family have been talking about them, but she doesn't say anything to change his mind. He kissed her against her will in her hospital room. There was no word of being sent home from the hospital for continuing the sexual assault that had brought her there in the first place. She hasn't said where she's going after the hospital closes. I was also going to go to another state, but I'm not sure now. For breaking frown oop, she doesn't have a well-thought-out plan. While I was still saying don't, the hospital called. I wasn't too worried about it at the time because I had liters of blood at my feet. Person 2 explained why he touched your stomach. He probably didn't mean to hurt the wound. He pulled his hand away and said he was sorry, saying that he was used to feeling my stomach because he did it so much when I was pregnant. Sorry about that. While it seemed real, so did all the other apologies. It was definitely done on purpose. I had already put my hand there to sit down. Commenter, remember that the only reason you're in this position is because he raped you, even though he knew it was bad for you and your unborn child. His only goal was to get his dick wet. Now you have to have an emergency C-section and watch your baby fight to stay alive in the NICU. He doesn't care about you or your child. He owns you and can do whatever he wants with you. Do not let this man near you at all. I see what you mean. That's what I consider each time I see or think about her. They quickly took her away and wouldn't let me see her during the C-section. I could only think that she was dead or dying and that he was to blame. I promise that I'm not coming back. I'm glad to hear that you're okay, and it looks like more is coming out. I was shocked when you told me about the other rapes and other crimes. From your post, it looked like this was a single, solitary event. It makes me happy that you are going. The fact that it was mentioned adds to that. It's true that there were many more times. 3 of them, including the one I wrote about, I went to the hospital. All I felt was fear, confusion, and not knowing what to do. I told the lawyer about this post before. As long as I don't say my name, his name, her name, the kid's name, the firm's name, or any advice that can't be found online, she said, everything will be fine. One more thing from Oop, no. I fully understand, trust me. I should have run away the first time he hurt me, when I was 19. But I didn't. I'm now though, because it's not just me, it's also her. At 20 weeks, I was told I couldn't do much. At 30 weeks, the rules got tighter. I couldn't jog, lift or climb anything, stand for more than 3 hours at a time, and most importantly, I couldn't have vaginal exams or sex. Because my doctor told me that anything that makes me bleed could cause me to give birth early. This is something I've been doing for 3 weeks, and it's driving my husband crazy. Every day he bothers me about having sex. Every single one. One person. Day. Every day I tell him I can't and remind him of the limits. I don't want to have sex because I'm always tired and my stomach is so big. The way you answer doesn't really sit well with him. Finally, he came up to me and started talking about how doctors sometimes lie about cases to move up in their jobs and make more money. He said they are in favor of C-sections. And I thought, okay, whatever. Since I know I have this condition, I will obviously follow the rules, and we had sex because he wouldn't take no for an answer. For a few hours afterward, I was bleeding a lot, and I was scared. I was crying in the bathroom while I tried to figure out what to do. When I called my doctor at last, she told me to make an appointment right away. I cried the whole way in the car because I could picture having a C-section in an hour at only 33 weeks pregnant. We quickly found out that I was just bleeding. Everything will be fine, as long as it stops. I'm not ready to give birth yet, I'm fine, and it did. But while I was there, my doctor told my husband to leave. And she started to question me. She asked me if I had done anything wrong. I told her I had sex with her. She said, this may be accusatory, but it's better to know if it was random or caused by something. She just went over everything again before giving me a lot of information about domestic violence. She really did put them in my purse for me. I felt really bad about myself. As soon as we got in the car, I cried and yelled at my husband, telling him not to treat me that way ever again, and that my doctor knows what's best for me and the baby. I knew he meant it when he said he was sorry. He's been apologizing for days, and I've been mad at him for days too. He asked me how long I would hold him responsible. I told him, at least until the baby is born. Is AITA in charge of that? Thoughts. They were different ages when they met. As Oop says. I had already finished from high school when we started going out together. I had finished from college when we met, and I was 17 years old. My family lives in a different state, but we still get to see them a lot. Look at those flyers. I looked over them when she gave them to me, but they were thrown away since then. Someone said that magic fairies don't throw things away. They are thrown away by someone. Who threw them out? You. Or are you an abuser who doesn't want you to read the important information in the leaflets? Out of the box. I put them together with some other papers we had sitting around. He probably just went through them all and got rid of the ones that weren't needed. In my opinion, he didn't mean to do it. Oop responds when users break links to resources. Yes, all of them are in the comments. And I'm reading them. They were in our recycling bin, but I couldn't find them. They were given to me by my doctor. An NTA commenter asked, can someone with this little critical thinking hold down a job out of the box? He usually has a good ability to think seriously. He really does work as a police officer. First update, I wasn't going to post one at first because it had too much personal information and I didn't want people I knew to see it, but I will now. I really don't know why. It looks like I just got some great comments. That was about 7 hours ago. And I can't believe how many people have responded. Thanking kind people on the internet is something I don't think I could ever do justice to. At first, I planned to tell my brother, my sister-in-law, and my doctor, but I wasn't excited to talk to him about the details. My regular visit with the doctor was moved to tomorrow. Some people had told me I could just walk in, but I didn't want to have to explain it to my husband before I did it. I'm scared because what was said made me realize how bad things are. I called my SIL when she got home from work, and we talked for a long time. It was clear in the statements that my brother and SIL have never really liked my husband. We talked for a while, and she was sweet and helpful. It was rape, not just sex. Now that I know that, let me say it. For a long time, that's all we talked about. And she quickly solved the whole confusing problem. My sister was very angry when I told her about all the things my mom had hid because she liked my husband. I didn't tell her because, well, I thought she would always be that way. In the end, she told me to talk to my doctor and said she would talk to my brother to help us figure out what was going on. She said she would get there on the first flight, but my brother can't come yet because they have their own kids. In any case, I was pleased with it. And I have a meeting with my doctor tomorrow. When my husband got home a little early, he saw how mad I was. Even though that was my real plan, I didn't have time to get ready before he got home. While he was being so nice, I know it's hard to believe, but it's true he seemed especially worried about me today. I was going to keep it to myself. I know it was stupid of me to explain, but I did. I have no idea why. I think it's because I'm used to telling him these things. I'm aware that I messed up. I really want to stop being so stupid, but it's hard to stop seeing him as my loving husband and start seeing him as my violent partner. That's what I told him. and how he hurt me, to be honest. I'm NICU. I don't think he will hurt our daughter in the hospital or do anything else bad. Lots of nice texts from his family and coworkers have reached me, so I'm sure he's telling me that everything is fine and that we're together. He's also trying to act that way. He's seen our daughter several times today, and I think he was with me in the hospital when I had the C-section. But I'm not sure. He came into my room this morning while the nurses helped me take my first walk since the C-section. Because I wasn't that upset, I let him in. Having said that, I have to say it wasn't easy to hate him after everything. I still cried with him and let him comfort me. But when he finally punched